Hey guys, it's Julie from Plan to Create, and I just wanted to pop on here real quick and say hey and let you know that I did things a little bit differently this week. Normally I just show you the progression of my Plan With Me videos, and this one I actually start off kind of discussing the attributes of this week. And basically I'm in a new insert this month. I'm back to my original roots in a week on 2 page, just really plain layout. And so I kind of wanted to take a second and explain what my goals are in that. So I'm going to go through that in just a second, but I wanted to give you a little bit of warning about that and just let you know it's a little bit different this month. This isn't necessarily the way I have been planning of recent, but I am trying to give ideas, and I hope that you guys can walk away with this seeing how there are ways to work in the decorative elements but also add function into your planner. So I feel like this is a foundation that I can look at, I can see what's happening throughout my week, I can prioritize the things that I want to prioritize by using fun stickers, I can use stickers to block off chunks of time that are going to be working on one project throughout my day, and this is not going to be the place where I do the detail work of those projects. This would be a perfect place for me to map out the actual things I want to work on. Maybe this is Monday's office hours here, maybe this is Wednesday and this is Friday, so I could use this list however I wanted. My hope in sharing this video is to just show you guys how you can fit both worlds into one planner. You can have the decorative and you can have a little bit of function that keeps you on track for the things you need to get done throughout the week. Just so far, I have done some stamping throughout. I've added my dates. You're going to see one of my things from last month was that I didn't care for having the really light colored stamps. So I alternated between these Sweet 16 and bubble colors. I didn't use like a light blush to actually date my pages there. But you can see that I have just come through, and what I basically did yesterday is I sat down and I thought about which materials I wanted to use each week. And Hester, you noticed it, I had initially had this thinner, smaller columns set up to be Valentine's week, and I was like, no, I can't do that because I have that cute set of stickers that I definitely wanted to use for Valentine's week. So I swapped. So I just pulled one page before I dated, I caught it, and so I swapped and made sure that I had the wider margins set up for Valentine's week. And then I basically knew that I could use that Ashley K Designs set here, a sticker kit here. And so what I've basically done too is I've taken the things that I want to use each week and kind of tucked them into a little baggie here. The first week I don't have a ton in here. I thought I could actually pull a lot from my stash and do some more stamping and things like that. The Valentine's week I have that pretty sticker kit from Plan and Go. And then I have that narrow set that I had talked about using on the narrower columns. And then I have the sticker kit that I also mentioned in my last video where I could hopefully use those in the narrow columns set up for this week. And then the final week I'm thinking I would use a little bit more of the Happy Planner stickers, so I have those tucked away here. So all of those things kind of, that's just like the stickers I have set out for each week. Of course I can be coming through and adding in any stamps and things like that. Having said that, I just got these in the mail yesterday, probably they arrived. I opened them today and they're so pretty, and I feel like they really go with the colors. So I didn't have those set out, but I obviously had purchased them and they just hadn't arrived. So I'm definitely going to incorporate those into this first week. So I wanted to just throw that out there. I think that they're so pretty. I'm not sure that they perfectly go with that washi, but actually it's not too bad. And right off the bat, I'm already feeling like a little bit lost. I have not used this style of no line, no margin, I mean margins, but no lines. I haven't done this for a really long time. So it's gonna kind of be a retraining for my brain. And I just wanna say that I'm doing this in order to kind of accommodate to the different styles of planners there are out there. This may not be my go-to anymore. Like, this is what I initially designed because I was coming off of like the Erin Condren. It didn't have lines, it didn't have hours at that time of, you know, in 2015 or whatever. I think that my planning has evolved since then, but I realized that a lot of you really love to use like these sticker kits, and with these they provide some structure here by adding like the checklist and things like that. So that's just kind of something I'm going to mention, is like you're going to be using your supplies to add the structure. It's not going to be already designed in. So some of my inserts provide that structure. This one is definitely one that does not, and it totally just depends on where you're at with your planning style. I'm not sure if I'm here, but you know what? Just like I did with hourlies, I'm not going to give up on the first week or two. I'm going to test it all out, see how it goes. I'm going to try to give myself a little bit more creative license this month as I use these, because I feel like that's what this design is meant for, is just for a little bit more creative play, you know, not being too rigid. And then again, I really would like to think that I'll be using my dailies a little bit more for the lists and things. I do like to include these, and obviously I did these little checklists before this arrived, but I do like to include those at the bottom just because they're just a good place. Sometimes it's not necessarily about housing the ideas on a specific day. It's definitely not about that for me, but it's to like for me to think, where do I need to go? What are the things that I keep thinking about buying and I forget to add to a list? This to-dos, sometimes in the summertime I'll do an inside to-do list, an outside to-do list, things that I need to clean. So those are all like there for me on this weekly page. But having said that, this is also an option. Like if to-do lists are, you know, if they cramp your style and you just want to be more decorative on these pages, I've included this as a release this month in February, and it's just basically a task list, but it doesn't stretch across the whole page, so you can tuck it in the middle. It's not exactly half, so it's a little bit wider than half, but you can print 2 per sheet of letter size or on an A4 paper, so that's kind of nice. And this was basically an idea from Evelyn. She wanted to have more of a list and a structure for her cleaning and her meal planning, and I just thought it was such a good idea, and I thought that some of you would enjoy it as well, so you can get a little bit closer look there. It does say cleaning, meals, and to do on this version, but I'm going to show you in the future here that this one has to do on the front because I feel like that's a natural spot for a to-do list, but I left these blank. So for me personally, I'll use this more for tracking things like how many times do I vacuum this week, but also how many times do I wash my face at night before bed. You know, I can do it. It's not just cleaning specific. And then I think I like this idea for meals, but I do love using my little stamp across the pages. So I'll see if there's something else that I want to do that. You could track your Fitbit or your workouts or your steps for the day. There's just a lot of things that you could do, whatever it is that you might track. I would love to hear what some of the things are that you guys would use on these, because I'm just curious. Like, it's hard for me to always envision what everyone else would use it. I know how I might use them. But so there's that version, and then I went ahead and created a version that just had, sorry, that's a repeat of the cleaning. Yeah, this one is absolutely blank, so it doesn't even say to do. Maybe you want to stamp this up and make it cuter, or you want it to say something else this week. You know, it just depends. Maybe it's not specifically to do, but it's just a brain dump for you. And then again, these are unlabeled so that you could use them for cleaning and meals if you wanted, but you would not be locked into that. All of those come together with one purchase, so I didn't make you choose. If you want to buy the to-do midway sheet, the task list, you can use any and all and kind of test them out and see which one works best for you. So I wanted to mention that. I don't think I covered that as a February release in my February video. So that gives you a quick glimpse as to where I am so far. I'll kind of plug away a little bit and let you watch and see how I go. If you've watched me for a while, you know one of the things I do like to track, and generally first thing at the top of my day, is my workout. And because I don't use these half box stickers a ton, I end up just adding an event in with maybe a mild liner or something simple. I'm going to use these, and I think that they're going to be so pretty to see across the top of my page. I'll actually kind of go in the order of which they are listed here, and that will be a really nice bold statement. It's one of my things that I do like to use, is the same material across to mark the things that are similar. So if I'm going to do workouts, I'm going to do them all kind of in the same format. That way my brain doesn't have to think too hard. I like this one here, so I might skip that flowered one. Those colors are just so pretty. Hello Petite paper is one of my favorite decorative sticker shops. I'm actually going to incorporate this blue again. It's not entirely part of my scheme, but I'll do it to balance out that one. And then I'm going to end, I like having that margin on the end with the flowers, so that kind of adds in together. The other thing I could have done is maybe flipped that and put it here so that the flowers kind of bookend, but I missed that opportunity, and I don't usually do it on Saturday or Sunday. I don't necessarily include a workout plan if we go for a walk or something that's kind of a gravy workout, but I will eventually come back through and write out the plans that I have for each of those days. And if I had to walk away right now, I'm happy. This looks good to me. I will mention I did use these Planner Spot. She offered me a file that I was then able to recolor, I think is what she did. And so I tried to do some of my mild liner colors. This is obviously a way lighter hue of the bubblegum, so I wasn't entirely sure how that kind of orangey color was going to work out. But there are hints of it here in the sticker kit, and so I think that it will tie together nicely. I am dying to use that feather sticker, and so I think I will be doing that for the days I have office hours, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So again, I do like to build the structure first in my planner and to make sure I have included room for my important things. So I always like to have my workouts. I do enjoy having a to-do list. Obviously it's going to repeat a little bit here this week. I may not end up needing that longer one, but I will say that having a place to just jot ideas and not worry about how it affects the overall aesthetics of my page, as silly as that is, it's where I'm at and it does help me. So if that's how you are a little bit too fussy about messing up these pages, which I know is kind of counterintuitive to a planner, I know. But anyways, I digress. So I'm going to actually pop these out in case I want to do any stamping, and I'll further walk through and keep you up to date on what I'm up to. Okay, it's time for me to do some meal planning, and then I also like to use this hydration stamp, and sometimes honestly the hydration is as much of a border for me as anything, and so I'm just trying to think through, do I want the border up there to be like kind of a division, or do I want it down tucked above the to-do list? I think that either of those could work. I think it would look nice paired up with that sticker, so you just have that directly and then like the meal above. However, I do kind of like having that separation so that it just kind of creates like, here's a list, here's the space now for my day to have for my events, and then again I look at it from morning to evening, so then I know I have that much space each day to jot down my events, versus this is going to be a lot more open. I honestly don't think I could go wrong either way. I think I might tuck it up next to the sticker because I worry a little bit that I'm going to get crooked in this open space and then it's going to look a little wonky. So just talking you through my process, I think either are fine and I can experiment from week to week, but I'm probably going to lean towards this way this week. Okay, you'll notice I'm gonna just kind of tuck these up. I don't want them like just in the middle of a page just randomly. I'm not gonna put it across. I could have done it at the top of the checklist and I thought about that, but I just kind of like to tuck it up next to something else so it's not hanging out in the middle. And then I wanna just mention, like, can you see, like, as I'm dipping down, these are a fairly firm pad here on this ink pad, but you can dip into it a little bit, and if you're not careful and you rock your acrylic, you're going to see that you pick up some ink along the edge of your block. And so just be careful. You'll notice I'm just trying really hard as I'm laying that stamp down not to rock it once you're putting it on your paper, because of course that will show up. So I just thought I would mention that. It's things like kind of lessons learned that I've experienced obviously over the years. I would rather err on the side of having a slightly lighter image by not pressing super hard and rocking it. I'm okay if it's a little bit light of an image than having that error pop up and basically ruin my page. So just something to consider. I'm going to come back with that bubble gum ink. That was the Sweet 16 from Catherine Pooler. Love the color. And this is a bubble gum, and I'm going to come through and use that for the actual meal plans. I don't always like see the difference of that. I don't know if you guys can tell, and I'll try to. It's pretty hard to tell actually. But this one I rushed a tiny bit and it's not super, super solid. That one I just sat there for like a tiny extra second and it just does look a little bit more crisp. So just little stamping tips. Again, I tend to 1, 2, instead of just pulling it right back up. Again, though, I don't necessarily mind if an image is a little bit shadowy or a little bit halvesy, because I don't mind if it looks a little bit homemade. The whole point is just that it's adding a little pop of color and a little interest on my page. It doesn't have to be, look like it came off of a printer. I want it to look a little bit like it's homemade and it's something that I added after the fact. I'm getting, again, the basics. This could be like any week of my life right here. Every week I want to hit some form of exercise. Every week I want to do my hydration, and every week I want to have my meal planning ready to go before the week begins. These checklists, again, that's something that I've always added onto these pages, but is optional now that I have this, but I'm just going to go ahead and do what I'm used to doing here. So now is the point where I start to consult. Well, and actually I could do like my week number sticker up here. I think I'm gonna actually wait. I always end up waiting on the week number. I think I like to see where everything falls and then what I can do to help balance it with that final step. So whatever that is, that's how I roll. And so now is the point where I actually consult my iCal on my phone, and I just look through to see what do we have going on this particular week. Yeah, I'm gonna kind of glance through and just come through and add any appointments that I have, because those are appointments or like office hour type stuff. I want to get that on there. So I'll probably go day by day for the most part and get those added in. So this week I'm definitely like using these colors as a guide of the stickers, and so I'm not maybe using all of my Mildliner colors. I've kind of narrowed it down. I will flux back and forth this month. You'll see predominantly these colors, but I may be able to incorporate a few more. But I pulled other stickers that I have, like these are from the Knockout Print Shop, and they go along with my color-coded, my Mildliner colors really nicely. I've also just pulled out some of these that I made from a Studio Calico file, where I just basically printed out the same thing over and over, and then I did a kiss cut on my silhouette. I used to have a video up, and if I could find that video, I'd repost it because it was helpful to me. I'd actually watch it again. When I don't do it for a while, I basically forget. Normally I'm green in our color code with my Mildliners, so I'd be like doing something here. Well, you can tell that that looks pretty hideous. So I'm going to step away from that. I'm going to just add in something here. Actually, I'm gonna see. I really want to use these. And I feel like my office hours are a little bit abbreviated that day. But I'm actually just gonna go ahead and tuck this in Monday. I'm at a little bit of an interesting spot. This is not planner related, but just Julie's life related. Mondays I have been trying to run, and then last week I skipped my run and I went later in the day to a bar class, and it's like 10:45. So it kind of broke up my morning. It's weird, but the instructor is so good that it's like worth it to me, and the class is not as full, so it's not just crowded. So I will be doing some office hours this day, but I'm going to probably be doing them in between. So this feels weird to me, but I am going to represent that for the chunk of time that I need to spend in my office. And then I'm going to go ahead and do an appointment that I have following that. And I'm tempted to do something because it's going to be kind of like in the middle of my office hours. Woo, how would that be? Dang it. Had I done a sticker like this, I could have actually put that in the middle of my office hours because I'm going to be taking a break. Is it too late? But this is like, I know that this is weird and I probably make it seem like it's harder than it is, but I'm really trying to like use this process to think through my week, and instead of just getting in a rut and being like, okay, Mondays I stick a sticker down to do office hours. It's like, hey, how's that working for you? Is that working for you? Have you been going for your run on Monday mornings? Are you pushing yourself out the door? Or is that a really good day for me to have like a scheduled class that I actually attend? I'm finding it's better for me to have something scheduled on Mondays, because otherwise I may not feel like I want to get out the door. So walking through it with me here, thank you. And I am going to instead select this sticker, which I don't feel as bad about putting something over. And so I'm going to be doing a little bit of office work, and then I'm going to slip away to a bar class, probably about that far. And then I have another appointment at 2. So that's kind of a weird little setup, but I'm going to make it work. And then I'm going to come back to my office hours. So they will be like interrupted basically that day. And it is weird that I have what I'm going to do up here for a workout, and then I'm actually going to put it down here. It's maybe not necessary, but I think that that is necessary for me to see, yes, I'm getting my workout done, but I'm also kind of breaking up my day a little bit differently than usual in order to do that. So 10:45, the earlier I wake up, the more time I have, and I'm not ready to decide the rest of the day. I kind of need to step through it day by day before I write in the rest of my week there. I am going to go ahead and speed things up a little bit here. I am just throwing down some of these stickers that I'm using to mark events and then mixing them in with the Hello Petite paper stickers. You can see here I tried a white ink on a darker sticker and it worked okay, not fantastic, but thought I would give it a whirl. And as I'm mixing in things from the kit, I'm also just adding in some things that are just Mildliner marks. A few more stickers pop onto my page. But I think after several months of just using Mildliners on my pages, or a lot less stickers that I definitely can reach a point of overwhelm when I just see so much pattern. So of course I pull out a few simple stamps here and throw in that last beautiful sticker to mark my office hours on Friday. But other than that, I feel like I'm backing off from a ton of the stickers. It's finally time for me to add my week number, so I kind of pick between those two label stickers, just write in week, and then I'm using this stamp from a scrapbook.com set to throw in number 6, and then while I have it out, I throw it onto my to-do list. Totally an unnecessary step, but just kind of fun to bring it a little bit of life, and if I were ever come across it in the future, I'd know what week I was working on those things, you know, just record keeping. And although the 6 and week are fine as is, I love to group or to house things within circles or within labels. So of course I can't help myself and I add this little stamp to just group that little, or to create a little grouping, I should say. Just pointing out here that this set has absolutely nothing to do with planning, but it's still doable and usable in a planner, and that I love. And while I'm honestly not a huge nap taker, I just thought that that stamp was funny. Dear Naps, I'm sorry I hated you as a child. That made me laugh when I first saw it, and I just had to include it on that list because it totally doesn't relate, but that's the funny part. Okay, I'm going to try not to get too carried away. I don't necessarily want to add any more stamps or anything too much because this is already pretty busy. And like I've stated before, my hope in sharing this video is to just show you guys how you can fit both worlds into one planner. You can have the decorative and you can have function that keeps you on track for the things you need to get done throughout the week. So I hope that that was helpful. And I know that some of you wanted to see a plan with me featuring the narrower columns, so sit tight because that will be on its way too. Thanks guys. Alright guys, thanks so much for joining me for this video. I hope that the message resonated, that you can combine some pretty things and still make them functional in your planner. That's what I'm all about. That's one of my favorite things to try to do. This one is a little bit like prettier this week, so as I'm working through it, I'm trying not to get distracted by the pretty feather sticker, but of course it draws my attention every day. But that's where the task lists are coming up big for me this week, and I'll give you kind of a glimpse to let you see where I'm at a little bit further into the week here so that you can see how I'm actually using these. Again, thanks for joining me.